Salutations readers, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nkechi, and for today we're doing another reading challenge vlog. So a few months ago, I think back in May, I did a swapping screen time for reading time, kind of reading challenge vlog. And I made that vlog because, well, I had a lot of books that I really wanted to read and also kind of need to read. And we're in that point again where I need to finish some books. I'm already at 8 current reads, y'all. Some of them are arcs, some of them are books I already own physically, and also a couple other ones are books I'm borrowing from my library that I want to read and finish sooner rather than later. Especially since I cannot renew those holds. So I definitely need to hurry it up. Hence, we're gonna start this reading challenge vlog. So today is Monday. It is nearly 3:30 a.m. That's why the window here is very, very dark, and that's also why I'm not speaking my usual volume, because it is late at night. I know I should be in bed, and yet here I am. I don't know what to say about that. But yeah, we're gonna do this challenge again because I have a lot of current reads, and these are books that I know that I do want to continue reading, and if I find out that maybe this is a point in the story that just doesn't work for me, I can just DNF. I just need to just read through the books I got. So yes, so I think, let me check back on my phone, because I did take screenshots of the average screen time for the week from last week's stats. It's about 4 3/4. So yeah, 4 3/4 hours that I spent on average on my phone, which is more than the last time I did this reading challenge vlog. And yes, I did rewatch the first vlog, which I will link down below in the video description. If you have not checked it out, I definitely do recommend checking out that reading challenge vlog. So yeah, the average here is definitely a little bit high. Not something I really am quite proud of, which is why for this week I really want to be on my phone less, especially when last week was election results. You know, election day and the fallout we're on that. We're still experiencing the fallout anyways. So yeah, I was definitely on my phone a little bit too much than I really should have been on my phone, honestly. Not gonna lie, I definitely I have to say I should not have been on my phone for that long. But you know what? It is what it is. We're here. So for this week, the idea is to get back into reading, to really read the books I'm currently reading and actually really focus and hone in on those books. So for today is actually gonna be, I think it's gonna be a pretty easy one. I just need to read for about 3 hours today, which granted, it is nearly 3:30 a.m. So, you know, I could be doing some reading right now. Was I doing reading beforehand? No, we're not gonna talk about it. But since it's only about 3 hours, then that's good. I can at least get some of my reading done, and then afterwards I can do editing, because I do need to edit a video. But the goal for today though is for sure to read at least 3 hours, get some editing done, maybe even film another video for the next week. But for today though, as far as for 3 hours, I do want to see if I can finish, or maybe I'll just keep reading until I do finish reading Role Playing by Cathy Yardley. This is a queer contemporary adult romance that we follow pretty much 2 middle-aged people. The woman here is 48 years old, the man here is 50 years old, so there's much older protagonist. She's pretty much like a hermit kind of person, and he's like a nice and just like grumpy sunshine kind of dynamic. And yeah, it's actually just really nice, and it's called Role Playing because they meet initially online in this online game, and then, you know, they meet in person. So it's kind of like that feeling, and I'm like, you know what, I'm totally here for it. And also I'm reading it for Suki's Readathon that is hosted and created by Jesse from Jesse on YouTube in honor of their mother from their mother's passing. So I am reading it for the heart on the cover, because there actually is heart here. There actually is some hearts here and the steam and stuff, so that's why I'm reading this book for. And oh, also the main character, Maggie here, she's actually a mother, and one of the prompts is to read where the protagonist is a mother. That also fits actually as well for that prompt. Did not realize that until I just said that out. So that's cool though. So yeah, I'm already more than halfway through. I'm nearly 2/3 of the way through, so I do think I'll be able to finish this. And will I finish this in 3 hours? I don't really know about that, but I will say though that I do think I will finish this book today, and I think I will prioritize finishing this book first before I do any editing or anything like that. So reading first, then we'll do YouTube stuff. So yeah, that's all I have for y'all. And I do have, again, like I said, I have like 8 current reads. I have like other books that I will be starting and reading and finishing, and hopefully be doing a lot of finishing of books. That's how we're gonna start this vlog, and I'll definitely will talk to you all later on today with my update as far as the amount of time I've read, and then what I've read, and ratings. Ideally though, I hope to finish reading role playing. So yeah, talk to you all later. Salutations, y'all. It is the same day, but it is not like 3 a.m. at all. I know it looks dark and all, and we're still like relatively the same spot, but I swear to y'all, it's literally a different time. It is literally like 7:30 p.m. There, see, there's the proof. Anyways, I'm here to tell y'all that I have indeed managed to read for about 3 hours. Actually, I managed to even read more than that because I really wanted to finish reading role playing. And y'all, I actually really had a really good time with role playing. So if you did not know, role playing is a queer contemporary adult romance where we're following a main character, Maggie, who is a single mom. Her one and only child recently just went to college. Now she's pretty much in her big house with a lot of yardage and well, actually not yardage, like land actually, in a small town called Fool's Fall for herself and stuff. And she's pretty much like a hermit, she don't be going out like that. She only leaves the house pretty much on emergencies, like when she needs to stock up her pantry, basically. And she doesn't really socialize with people like that, at least not face to face. But she does like to play video games. So in order to make sure that, like, to get a sense for like her son, to give him some peace over regarding like his mom, just be like, okay, fine, I'll like socialize a little bit. And then she like somehow gets like this guild, this online guild for this one game. And she just plays this game, and the person in charge of like this guild and stuff, named Otter, or at least nicknamed Otter in the game, she starts to talk to him. He seems like kind of a person that she would like, but she thinks in her mind that he's like a college, so she knows that he's a college student, but in her mind she's thinking like, oh, so he's like 18, late teens, early 20s, only to come to find out Otter, aka Aiden in real life, is actually a 50-year-old man who pretty much moved back from the west side of the state of Washington to east side to like where his mom is, so he can take care of his mother, who definitely does not like him. I'm gonna say that much. She does not like him. We'll get to that. And yeah, and they start talking to each other, learn about each other, and then when they finally meet face to face, I find out like, okay, she's not as old as he thought she was. Like she's not as old as he thought that she was, and he is not as young as she thought he was. And then we go from there. I have to say though, I really did enjoy my time reading this book. I will say, as far as nitpicking, I don't particularly love the writing as much. The writing is not bad, but I do find at least bits and pieces of it to be slightly cringe, but still enjoyable time regardless. And I really do like following with our main characters. Like, it's definitely giving grumpy sunshine. Like, Aiden is definitely like a cinnamon guy, very sensitive, very attentive and thoughtful. I have a little bit of a hard time like really standing up to like his family in particular, because another thing too is that like it's also a queer romance, because Aiden like finds out and figures out for himself that, well, he's bi, but also that he's demisexual. And it's actually a big thing for him. It's like, wait, especially demisexuality. Like bisexuality he's heard of, but he has never really heard of demisexuality, and something he was exploring. It's like, I did not know that's a thing. And honestly, it was really nice seeing that like, you can learn about yourself, especially sexuality and stuff, even at an older age. And yeah, I don't know, I just really like them together. I think they really work well together, honestly, especially with Maggie, like in her grumpy self and all that. And I really like, and I do also like how the author handles like the family dramas in between. Not like between the two of them, but between their own family. Like for Maggie regarding like her divorce and like with her kid and all of that. And then with Aiden regarding his mom and trying to deal with that, especially with like his ex-girlfriend, and apparently he had an ex-fiance that ended up falling in love and marrying his brother, and there's drama regarding that for some reason, which I'm just like, seriously, it's been like nearly 20 years since then, but it's a whole thing. It's honestly truly a whole thing regarding Aiden and his drama, most because of the fact that like he feels like he's the bad guy in the situation, even though really he's not a bad guy in this situation. It's definitely complicated, but like, not the bad guy here. So yeah, it's a whole thing, and I really do like how the author handled that situation, even regarding with like Maggie and like with regarding like her ex-husband and stuff. Yeah, it's a whole thing, honestly. Yeah, they have their baggage, but I think the way that they come together is really, really good. I would have to say though that as far as the pacing of it, it does feel a little bit, it makes the book feel long, because I feel like the first half we were definitely slow into like Aiden and Maggie even like meeting, as far as like, well, even just digitally online with like the game and stuff. I feel like that took a little while, and then even for them to meet face to face, which took about until the halfway mark of this book, I thought it took a little bit long, not gonna lie. The book is about 300 pages. It's maybe a little bit over 300 pages, but I did feel like the story itself, like the actual plot, it felt a little bit long, so I don't think it's as tightly paced as I would have liked. So that's why it's not really a 5-star for me. And again, like I said with the writing, not really my preferred, but it's still pretty serviceable stuff. Although I do notice those some discrepancies regarding like the text itself, like regarding not just with spelling, but also just description of people that I feel is not inconsistent. Granted, this is a self-published work, so like I will give it some grace for that, but the fact that we were talking about Aiden's eyes, and then like the eye color kept changing. It's like, okay, first it's blue, and then it's gray, and then I'm just like, okay, so is it blue, is it gray eyes? Does he have both? Which is it's a bluish gray? And I don't know, it definitely flip-flopped between being blue and being gray, so I'm not really sure. Regardless though, I definitely do recommend reading role-playing if you have not already, and I did give this book 4.5 stars. Definitely do content warnings though on acephobia, homophobia, biphobia, emotional abuse, yeah, toxic relationships. Yeah, it's just not, there's some unhealthy stuff going on, especially between family members. It's annoying and aggravated me. Oh my gosh, by like the last third of this novel really made me go like, oh my gosh, I want to just put a stick into people's throats or something. I don't know, I was getting mad. But hey, I definitely enjoyed it, and I definitely do recommend y'all reading it if you have not read it already. So that's that for today. I think I'm done reading for today, because I do really want to get a head start as far as, I don't know about filming. I don't think I'll film today, but I do want to edit, because tomorrow I have to read for a long time, so I have to really focus in on reading tomorrow, which is fine. I do have an audiobook I'm gonna listen to, and also I definitely need to listen to that audiobook anyways, because the book is due in like less than a week, so I will be reading that book. I don't know why I was on my phone. Oh wait, I do remember why I was on my phone last Tuesday. Well, you know what, we're here. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So yeah, I will definitely talk to you all tomorrow. Salutations, y'all. Today is Tuesday. It is actually about 11 p.m. and I did manage to reach my goal. I actually went just a little bit over, not like a lot over, because today's goal was 7 hours 17 minutes. I went just like a few minutes over, so 7 hours and 22 minutes. Regardless though, I did indeed do the reading today. It was a little bit difficult, not gonna lie. Also because I was listening to an audiobook, and I don't like listening to an audiobook just straight through. I do need to take breaks, especially since I do use over the ear headphones, you know, I need a break with my ears. So it took me a little bit longer, but regardless though, we're here. So yes, it is indeed very dark again outside, and we're here in this corner again. I did finish reading There's Always This Year on Basketball and Ascension by Hanif Abdurraqib. This book actually came out this year. I was like, wait, it came out this year? I actually didn't realize it came out this year. So I listened to the audiobook, which is narrated by the author as well. And he does have a good narration voice. So I gotta say, I'm definitely gonna be reading more of his works, because honestly, y'all, this was really, really good. So this is a essay collection it's a memoir in the form of an essay collection. And it's pretty much about basketball, but it's not just about basketball. I mean, granted, a lot of it is about basketball and like the influence of basketball, specifically LeBron James, and like what LeBron James really meant for like the community of like East Columbus, Ohio, and like when Hanif Abdurraqib was growing up, what that meant for him and his identity. Like, it's a whole thing, y'all. I really enjoy listening to this audiobook, and I definitely want a physical copy. I'm just like, damn, like, Hanif Abdurraqib, how on earth are you able to talk about basketball, a sport of which I'm not really a fan of, honestly, Like, I loosely know, like, like the big names of basketball. That's pretty much it. I don't care too much for the sport itself. I don't even watch it, really. But, like, when he was just talking about basketball, it just made sense to me. Like, I understand, like, all the players? No, but, like, just to talk about, like, the community of basketball and, like, what basketball will really mean for a community and group of people. And, like, how that influence can really influence other people and, like, kind of, like, makes you think of them as, like, a star, as a hero, you know? Like, that influence and that sense of community, I understand that. And the way he's able to connect that with basketball and the way he's even talk about basketball, it just made me so intrigued. I have to say, if you have not read anything by Hanif Abdurraqib, I definitely recommend just listening to any of his works via audio, because I do think he narrates all his essay collections. I really liked Hanif Abdurraqib's writing style, like the way he narrates, his talking points, just the way he talks about love and community and identity and influence. Like, I just really love the way he's able to connect basketball with, like, community, you know? I really do. So yeah, this is pretty much my endorsement of saying that y'all gotta read Hanif Abdurraqib. I don't know what else to say. You just gotta read. You gotta read the essay collection. That's what I said. Even if you're not into basketball, trust and believe this book is not just about basketball. And I will be checking out more of his works for sure. And I do know he has a poetry collection coming out. I don't know if it will be next year or the year afterwards, but I do think he also has some other backlisted poetry. So I definitely want to check out his poetry and some other essay collections. So yeah, I'm pretty much checking out his works now. I mean, I only read the one essay collection. Here I am being like, oh yeah, I'm definitely a fan. And I'm like, I only read the one thing. It don't matter. I can read one thing and I still be saying, oh, I'm a fan of this author. Okay, I said what I said. So yeah, that took up pretty much the bulk of the time for today. And then I did start reading an anthology on my Kindle called Time Travelers, an anthology of Palestinian speculative fiction that is edited by Sonia, Sulaiman. This pretty much is a collection of 14 short stories written by Palestinians across the diaspora, and it's speculative fiction. And I've only read the first two. I'm in the middle of the third one. And I have to say, these are actually pretty good short stories. If you're definitely someone who's trying to read more books and just works by Palestinian authors, I definitely at least recommend this anthology. Well, first off, because they're short stories. And also the anthology is not really long. Like, I think it's literally less than 200 pages. So, like, it's not going to take you very long. Like, I'm already, like, a quarter of the way through of this ebook. And I do plan on finishing this anthology tomorrow. It's not very long. It won't take you very long. Also, if you're definitely someone who's like into fantasy, sci-fi, speculative fiction, then I definitely recommend this anthology because it's pretty solid actually, pretty much on this speculative fiction. I do like the writing style so far. I mean, granted, I've only finished reading 2 short stories. I'm in the middle of a third one. Like, I can't say too much as far as the quality of all the short stories. So far though, it's a pretty good start. And for someone who does like reading short stories but not a super big fan of anthologies, this one's a pretty solid anthology, not gonna lie. So definitely do recommend. I think I found this book when I was scrolling through Instagram. I think someone just was like talking about this book. I don't remember if it was a post or an Instagram story or what, but I'm just grateful that someone even put this on my radar because I never would have known that this book even existed. And it actually came out this year, so definitely recommend another 2024 release as well. I'll keep reading it though to let y'all know my final thoughts on that one. Oh yeah, and also especially with There's Always this year, I no longer rate nonfiction, so I don't have a rating for that one. But if I were to rate it though, it would definitely be 5 stars if I were to rate it, but I no longer rate nonfiction. So far though with Time Travelers, I think this is definitely at least a 4-star, unless I read a few. Well, even if I do read a few short stories that don't quite click as much as me, it still will be at least 4 stars. It probably won't be close to a 5, but so far we're pretty good. It's like 4 star, maybe even 4.5 star. We shall see as the anthology as a whole. Because again, I do have to say, so far all these short stories are pretty much this 4.5 star feeling. We'll see what all the rest and as far as the cohesiveness. But so far, I think these stories are definitely fitting the theme of what this anthology is supposed to be meant for. So yeah, I definitely think that y'all need to check out this anthology if you haven't already. Anyways, now we gotta, let's see, it is pretty much late, so I will be going to bed soon-ish. And then for tomorrow, it looks like I have to read for about 5 hours. So I think within less than 5 hours, I'll be able to finish this anthology, I think. And then I could either start something or finish something. I don't know what I'm gonna do after reading Time Travelers. Because again, I do have arcs and stuff that I really want to finish and prioritize, but then also I got some library books, so I don't know. I might start listening to an audiobook, but although I do want a little bit of a break from audiobooks, so I might switch to something physical, or maybe I could do a hybrid read, because I do have a couple books I could read as a hybrid read. I don't know. But I am going to be a little bit busy tomorrow as well, so we shall see. It might be audiobook time after this ebook, so we shall see. I cannot make any promises, but I will say, though, that this challenge is doing pretty good as far as my reading momentum, so that's what we're here for. Anyways, I'll definitely going to talk to you all tomorrow, and most likely with my final thoughts on Time Travelers. So, see y'all then! Okay, salutations, y'all. It is literally nearly 5:30 a.m. and I just want to let y'all know that even though I did not start the timer for today, which is Wednesday, I do want to say that I have been reading. I have been reading for 3 hours and about 15 minutes. I was reading Blood Over Brighthaven by Wang. I've been reading my e-arc of this book, and I don't know, I just had energy. I was really thinking, I was like, oh yeah, let me just like read a little bit of my e-arc, you know, before I go to bed. Only for me to be so engrossed into the story that I've been reading for over 3 hours. So while my time is for nearly 5 hours, I do want to count the over 3 hours I've already read into the time. And this is just here for continuity's sake, and also for proof. I think y'all believe me that I've read for over 3 hours instead of me being up at like 5:30 a.m. instead of just being in bed. But you know, we're here. I just want to at least put that on the record, you know? So I still will be reading, though, Time Travelers. I do think I will finish that book when I actually wake up properly, you know? But I have been reading Blood Over Brighthaven, and it's pretty obvious to me that Blood Over Brighthaven will be my next book I'd be focusing on after Time Travelers. Because this book, y'all, oh my god, this book is so good. Oh my gosh, I really need to get this Sword of Kaigen like pronto. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I do want to say just that, and then just have this clip as proof that I've been reading for 3 hours. And even though I've been reading for 3 hours and I'm nearly halfway through the book, I can't really say much right now because it's too early in the morning. And yeah, I would say it's late at night, but really it's actually early in the morning now. Like, yeah, I can tell that in the next couple of hours the sun will rise, you know? But yeah, I just want to say that because I think that I am kind of up, because unfortunately I didn't finish my energy drink, but I was having some sips of my energy drink. Although I was drinking some water too, though. But yeah, that energy drink does give me a little bit more energy than I thought. So yeah, I might continue reading Blood Over Brighthaven with our time. We shall see. If I end up reading Blood Over Brighthaven and then I fall asleep, it is what it is. But I will be reading most likely for at least 5 hours. And most of the time will be on this, but I will be reading Time Travelers though as well. But yeah, oh my gosh, y'all can actually kind of see it being kind of bright out a little bit. I mean, I don't know, it's just kind of like street lights. It's not actually like sun or anything, but I'm just using a book light here just for so y'all can even see my face because it's still dark outside. But yeah, I'm just here again for proof. So yeah, I'm definitely going to talk to y'all for real though later on today, you know, when it's not like early in the morning. Like literally now it's 5:30 a.m. So yeah, definitely let's talk later. Alright, salutations, y'all. It is nearly 11:30 p.m. and I am tired. That's what happens when you somehow stay up late to be reading a book and now you're just tired. And then also I went out today. Oh gosh, it is Wednesday, so I had to do childcare, and I'm dealing with preschoolers. Like, I have very energetic 3 and 4 year olds. Oh gosh, why do they have so much energy? Anyways, that's not what y'all here for. Y'all here for reading challenge updates. Okay, so I did read for more than my specific time. I read for about 5 hours and 49 minutes, give or take. Again, I did not have my timer going as when I was staying up past 2 a.m. reading Blood Over Brighthaven. Which, by the way, I did get to like halfway into that book. So what should I update first? Because I did continue reading Time Travelers as well, so I don't know which one to update. You know, let's talk about Time Travelers, since that was what I updated last time. So let's actually continue this update first. So I'm about 2/3 of the way through with this anthology, and I really am enjoying this anthology. There's definitely been a couple short stories that kind of lost me a little bit. And by lost me, I mean I was just confused. Not because it was bad or anything. I mean, I think there's only one that I'm kind of just like, you know, this was good, nothing great. But a lot of these short stories are actually really, really good. And I really do like the tone of voice and the way that each writer has decided to go about, like, a speculative, like a future Palestine, or what Palestinians across the diaspora think of Palestine as well, past, present, and future. So yeah, I don't know. And then I really like as well the themes regarding love, especially queer love, because there's actually been a couple of short stories that feature queer love that I actually think is really, really cool as well. So we definitely do got a couple stories with featuring queer love in here, and definitely a lot of stories regarding family members wanting to return to Palestine, experiencing the Nakba, or having grandparents experiencing the Nakba, and having their descendants either feeling disconnected or trying to reconnect, especially if they were born and raised in Palestine and then no longer live in Palestine because they were forced out as well, besides the Nakba as well. So yeah, I don't know, there's just a lot of good stuff in here, very, very timely, and I definitely do recommend this anthology. I'm so glad it came out this year. So like, I really do just recommend checking this out if you have not already. Request it from your library. If you can't purchase it, request from your library. I highly recommend. I don't know if there is an audiobook at all for this anthology or not. So I can't say as far as pronunciation of names, because I do not know how to pronounce much of names or places in Arabic as well at all. Like, I got no idea. So I don't know the pronunciation of names and places, but I'll just say that this is pretty strong anthology. So highly recommend here. So that's why I continued reading. I didn't finish it though. That's the thing. I didn't finish it because I actually was thinking about if I could read a little bit more before I update y'all, but like, I'm getting a little bit sleepy. And actually not a little bit, I am kind of sleepy, so I do just want to make this update. And then again, like I said, I got to halfway into Blood Over Bright Haven by Wang. This book was originally self-published and then now been traditionally published by Del Rey as of like October 29th. This is when the traditional published version came out. And I have to say, I really, really am enjoying my time. At first, I was kind of slow, not gonna lie. Like, the first quarter was kind of slow. It can be very info dumpy as well, because we had to get a lot of basic information regarding how the world works and stuff. And it did feel quite info dumpy, because we do follow Sayana, who is a mage, who's a magic practitioner, and she wants to be known as like a high mage in like this city where they don't really allow women, or they don't really even allow women to even test into the magistry. They only allow one woman every 10 years to test into the high magistry, which is quite insane. Not gonna lie, that's very insane. She gets it though, and you know, she experiences sexism and misogyny. And then she meets a guy who's pretty much the janitor named Thomo, who is Kohen, which is pretty much just like lower class, a racial group, lower class kind of group that she's very much racist towards. Like, she's like, Sayana is pretty much like Letty from Babel. In fact, Blood Over Bright Haven and Babel are very comparable. Like, there's a lot of overlapping similarities that's both, you could tell outwardly and also in really regarding both the books. Although the way that Blood Over Bright Haven goes about it though, that it's way more fantasy and just straight up fantasy, not like historical fantasy, just straight up fantasy, while Babel is historical speculative fiction. So I will recommend Blood Over Bright Haven for more like avid fantasy fans and less so for Babel. And this is also dark academia as well, not in the sense of like Babel where it's like linguistics and stuff, but this is dark academia in the sense of like, well, this mastery is also an academic institution as well, because she is also a researcher, and we had to research like magic in a way to like better improve like this city and stuff. And yeah, I don't know, the plot here is not the main focus. It's definitely more following with Sayana and pretty much like her journey through like this mastery, trying to get to this point, and then now she's at this point dealing with the sexism and misogyny, but also since she's also like pretty much a white woman, very much like Letty, like I have to emphasize, she's very much like Letty. I sympathize with her because of the sexism and misogyny, but I also hate her for her racism. And she's really ignorant. Despite for someone so smart, she's so ignorant. And oh gosh, I just feel so infuriated by her. And that's why I think I was able to stay up a little bit. I was able to read from 2 a.m. to like 5:30 a.m. is because of the fact that by the quarter, because that's when I started reading at 2 a.m. I made it to about halfway into this book by like around 5:30, 6 a.m. because we're finally getting to things where she's starting to realize certain things regarding the foundation of the city and also the foundation of magic and stuff. It's just really, really fascinating. And I'm actually even more curious to see what the second half is going to look like, because now we've gone to the point like we've had this big revelation, and now I'm just trying to see the fallout and trying to see how Sayana is going to handle that. And she does, at least so far, been handling like a white woman would do, as far as like trying to pretty much be in denial and be a little delulu. But I think her head is she is smart enough to not let the delusion carry for too long so far. So that's something to at least keep a note of if you do want to read this book. But yeah, I have to say I'm very, very excited to actually finish this book. I don't know if I'll finish it tomorrow, since I still need to finish reading Time Travelers. But like, there's not a lot of short stories left. I think there's only a small handful of short stories left in this anthology, so I will for sure finish this tomorrow. I really thought I was going to finish this today, but no, it'll be tomorrow. And as far as Blood Over Brighthaven, though, I don't know if I'll finish that book tomorrow. That one's up in the air. But yeah, we shall see though. Especially for tomorrow, I actually don't need to read for as long. I want to read for about an hour and 38 minutes, which is very short. Like, in that time, I think I can actually finish this anthology in an hour and 38. Well, maybe not quite an hour and 38 minutes. Actually, I think it might take me 2 hours to read this. So I will definitely read more than that. And then I'll definitely want to be reading Blood Over Brighthaven as well, because again, I really want to get through my arcs, so like it'd be really awesome to get through Blood Over Brighthaven. But I don't think I'll finish Blood Over Brighthaven tomorrow. But that depends though, because I mean, I like to take my Kindle with me when I go to bed, hence why I was reading at like 2 a.m. Yeah, we'll see about that. And again, I'm not going to be exactly timing it, but if I can time it, I'll time it. But yeah, for sure though, I'm going to be reading way more than an hour and 38 minutes, so yeah, but I will definitely let y'all know about Time Travelers, because I'm quite certain for real this time that I'm going to finish reading this anthology, and then I'll definitely give y'all some updates on Blood Over Brighthaven, because I also want to finish reading that book. We shall see if I end up finishing it tomorrow or not. It might finish it on Friday. If not tomorrow, I'm quite confident I'll finish reading Blood Over Brighthaven on Friday, but one day at a time. But anyways, that's it. That's all I already have for y'all right now, and we shall definitely reconvene tomorrow night or afternoon, whenever I feel like I want to stop reading for the day. Who knows? But tomorrow. Alright, salutations y'all. It is Thursday. It is nearly 6 p.m. and I am updating y'all a little bit early because I feel like I'm good with reading for today. As y'all saw, I did finish reading Time Travelers, and I really did enjoy my time with this anthology. Again, like I said before, I highly, highly recommend reading this anthology, checking it out, get it from your library, however you can get a hold of reading this anthology. Highly, highly recommend. I definitely found some like new favorites for sure, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing more from these writers. I'm definitely gonna look them up and just be like, okay, do they have a novel or what? I think one of the short stories, actually, the last short story is written by an illustrator slash writer of Squire, which I did read this year. So Nani Shamas, she has a short story in this anthology. It was originally published in a different like magazine, but they got permission to publish it under this anthology. And I definitely do recommend y'all check it out. Squire, if you have not read it, it's a graphic novel. Highly recommend. Read it like for Asian Readathon, I think. Really good time. Highly recommend. And for these writers, I definitely want to look up if they have any previous works themselves, because I really did enjoy reading from all of them, they have such like a wide range of like tackling not just Palestinian issues, but just like life as a Palestinian, whether and during the occupation, whether they're in Palestine, outside of Palestine, wanting to return to Palestine, learn about Palestine through their grandparents who experienced the Nakba, or even just being part of the diaspora and they're not being as connected to like their Palestinian heritage as well. Just a wide range, and sometimes it's not even quite directly about Palestine, but it's just written by a Palestinian. And honestly, I really liked on how varied that is. Like, again, this is what I really love about speculative fiction. Like, no matter like your background, you know, you could really, it leaves you with the biggest room for imagination possible. And I really, really think that's what makes this anthology so awesome and really important. And also, I found out actually that the editor of this anthology is already looking for submissions for a new anthology called The Apocryphal, which is pretty much going to be dark fantasy and horror by Palestinian writers and authors. So I'm very much looking forward to when that anthology comes out. So I'll definitely keep y'all posted on whenever I find out news regarding that anthology, because I'm totally here for some dark fantasy and horror. Like, yes, I want to read that anthology so bad. Like, I need it now. I want to read it, like, right now. But, you know what? We're going to have to wait. I won't be surprised if it won't come out until, like, 2025, 2026. But I'm very much looking forward, though, to that anthology whenever it comes out. And then after I finished reading Time Travelers early this morning, I continued reading Blood Over Brighthaven by Wang, and I think I got to about 2/3-ish, very close to 2/3% into this book. I'm very much just curious, again, to see, like, I'm seeing more of the follow-up for Sayana, like, learning about the truth and stuff, and trying to see, like, how she's really trying to handle it. Right now, I'm a little bit optimistic with her, but I'm not putting all my faith in her just yet. I'm like, no, let me just wait. Although I have to say, though, Emma Wang, definitely, I really do love her writing. Like, she's really making me feel for these characters. Like, this character really feels so real. All these characters actually feel pretty real. Their strengths and their weaknesses, especially regarding their flaws. But still having a good time here. Again, it does, as far as the theming, is definitely, like, in your face. If you're not a fan of, like, in your face thematical work, maybe not check out Blood Over Brighthaven or even Babel, to be honest. But if you don't mind it as much, and like this particular theme is pretty much like it does something for you, then I definitely do recommend Blood Over Brighthaven. Like, please read Blood Over Brighthaven if you have not read it already. Whether you've got the self-published version already or you want to check out the traditionally published version, definitely recommend Blood Over Brighthaven. And yeah, so that's kind of what I'm feeling at right now. I'm a little bit tired of reading, especially since I've already finished the book. It's like, well, do I need to do more reading? Especially when I finish the book before our time. It's like, do I need to do more additional reading? You know? Because I think for today, I've officially just read for like 2 hours and 5 minutes? Is that how much I read? Yeah, something like that, I guess. So not a lot of reading, but like enough reading for the day. Now, tomorrow is Friday, and I have to read for about 3.5 hours-ish, which I think is a good amount of time to possibly finish reading Blood Over Brighthaven. I'm a hope to finish this tomorrow, but we shall see. And then for the rest of today, I do want to work on some more like YouTube stuff, because I did film a video today, and I do want to edit it, but I also got to edit another video that's actually really, really long. So I want to at least start editing that one. And I don't want to do a lot of like editing and YouTube stuff, so I think I'm going to be working on that today and then sometime tomorrow as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it, y'all. That's all I have for y'all for today, and we shall definitely reconvene tomorrow with some substantial reading updates regarding Blood Over Brighthaven. That much I can promise y'all on that, so see y'all then. Alright, salutations, y'all. It is Friday, nearly 7:30 p.m. And I did manage to finish reading Blood Over Brighthaven. I did have to go over the required reading time for today to finish, because I don't know, for some reason my brain just really wanted to like slow it down just a little bit, because I figured like, oh yeah, I'm gonna finish this book, but like let me really slow down to make sure I'm really like waiting for that anticipating like ending. And I will have to say, for this particular ending, I think it makes sense actually. I was like, you know what, I'm pretty satisfied with the ending, how it ended. Not going to lie. And it does remind me of Babel a little bit. Like, I don't know, this entire, it's just so, it's so fascinating for me to read this book after I've read Babel and seen the similarities, but also seeing like how distinctly different it is as well. Because like, this book really is for fans of Babel. Like, if you've really loved Babel, you're gonna have a good time with Blood Over Brighthaven. In a sense of like, you're following a very privileged, pretty much speculating to be basically like a white woman character, and just seeing her really understand that the way that she's seen the world, like everything that she's seen the world, the way that she's trying to get into life as like being this woman trying to get into this magistracy and all this stuff, and really knowing how such the foundation of such a city came to that place. You get something like Blood Over Brighthaven, and honestly I actually kind of prefer it this way. And it definitely is dark academia in the sense of like this magistracy is kind of like this high point of like academia, of like that's how the foundation of this city is, regarding like how it's tied to religion, how it's also tied to just patriarchal power and control and all that. And also you really get to see like really the process of like how you mentally had to be so delusional to the point that you're trying to say like, oh, we're not doing it this way or that way because it's meant for the greater good, because that's what we're meant to be. And you know, if you know, then you know how that goes. I have to say though that I did enjoy my time reading Blood Over Brighthaven. I'm not giving this a 5-star though. I don't think it's 5-star worthy because of a few reasons. One, I found that the beginning part is pretty slow, not gonna lie. In fact, a lot of this is kind of slow because when we're seeing the slow descent of like how Sayana's trying to like really know the error of her ways and stuff, and trying to dismantle that in her own way. And even though she is quite naive, I do have to say, I find her to be very smart, but also naive of the world. But then again, I think it makes sense because for me, I'm aware of all these things. And a few side characters are also aware of these things as well, like Thummel. I mean, he's aware of it because he's lived it. Sayana has not lived it. If you have not lived it, it's not, or you, whether you have not, if you have not lived it, or you have not really witnessed it with your own eyes and understanding from other perspectives, then yeah, it's gonna be very slow to understand for Sayana to dismantle that. And I think the way that Wang has written her character makes a lot of sense to me. Honestly, her character definitely makes sense to me. And actually, it's a part of me that kind of really wish with regarding like Letty from Babel as well. I would just say this is it's like a good way to really expand upon a character like Letty in a dark academia setting fantasy like this. And also the fantasy is definitely like high fantasy. It's not like in Babel where it's like speculative fiction and set in our real world. This is not set in our real world at all. It's a completely fantastical world, but it's very much has strong parallels to our own world as well. So yeah, definitely recommend this book. I gave this one 4 stars because again, like the pacing, but also I have found that the writing, because of like the thematic work, to be more in your face, which like depending on who you are, you could find that to be cathartic, or you can find that to be quite didactic and irritating. So depending on who you are, you would find this to be boring and kind of a slog to get through because of how didactic it is. Or maybe you're someone like me who doesn't quite mind it as much if you have like in the right circumstances and the right kind of like writing style to get through it, and also maybe it's cathartic to you as well. But honestly, I just been reading this book and it really does give me a lot of parallels of like our current world as well. Just like seeing the parallels of just like this kind of line of thinking and just easily applying it to the real world also made it like, you know, I'm just gonna keep on reading because that's just how my brain works. So depending on who you are, you will find this to be a good read, and for others, you might find this to be annoying. I don't know who you is, but for me, it worked well for me. So I'm giving this book 4 stars, maybe 4.25, maybe. But really, I think a solid 4 stars at least. And yeah, I'm very much glad that I was approved of this arc thanks to Del Rey Books. So yes, very excited. Got 1 arc down. 1 arc down and a few more to go as far as what I'm currently reading and ones I haven't even started reading yet. But hey, we're making progress with like Blood Over Brighthaven. So yeah, that's that on Blood Over Brighthaven. Now tomorrow, oh my gosh, y'all, tomorrow is going to be a very long reading day. It's supposed to be about 8.5 hours tomorrow. That's a lot of reading. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have for y'all right now. Definitely will we should definitely reconvene. So yeah, see y'all then. Alright, salutations y'all. It is Saturday night. I'm actually just kind of working on my 2025 reading journal. I've just been doing some stamping, letter stamping for my title page just to have that thing wrapped up. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to talk about what I did today. So today was actually really much of a struggle as far as time, because I knew with 8.5 hours of reading that, first off, if I really want to do it well, I need to wake up early. I did not. I actually went to bed late, so I didn't get up until like around noon, 1 p.m. I figured with 8.5 hours and knowing myself with breaks, it'll take me to like nearly midnight, and that did not help with motivation for this challenge. So I did let the timer go, but I was not reading the entire time. I think averaging in general, I've been reading for about maybe 4 of those 8.5 hours, maybe 4.5. So like half the time I was reading, the other half the time I'm just like letting the time go and then we do life things. So whether that's working on my reading journal, watching YouTube, going out about my family, doing all the things. So I did start reading Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid. And if you don't know, this is a Macbeth retelling, historical fantasy, where we're following Lady Macbeth instead. Now, as a concept, I liked that. I thought that it actually was one of the books I was mostly anticipating for this year from Ava Reid. However, I have found that I leaned more into the camp that did not enjoy this story, because I'm one of the people who is familiar with the original play than like some other readers, because I have found with this trend, at least with this particular book, I don't know about other Shakespeare retellings, but when it comes with like something with like Macbeth specifically and the portrayal of Macbeth as a character and even Lady Macbeth as a character, I have found that I did not particularly like how Ava Reid went about this particular retelling, unfortunately. As far as the Shakespeare plays, Macbeth is literally my favorite, with Hamlet being the second one. So I was genuinely excited for this one. Now, unfortunately, I did not like this particular interpretation of Macbeth, because I have found Lady Macbeth as a character here to be not much as like what I remembered her. Now, granted, it's been years since I've read Macbeth. Like, I haven't read Macbeth since I was like 15, 16 years old. So it's been a while. But I do remember like Lady Macbeth being like such a strong character. Now, granted, though, she was a villainess. She was a villain in the original play. However, she had goals, she had ambitions, she has a personality. This one, her personality is giving me a little bit wishy-washy, not gonna lie. Her goal is to like survive, because she's 17 years old. I don't know why Ava Reid decided to go with a 17-year-old girl as Lady Macbeth. That was a choice. But she decides like, where this version of Lady Macbeth is a young French noblewoman that's been betrothed to Lord Macbeth. That's the direction that Ava Reid wanted to go with. I was like, okay, sure, cool. Now, as far as personality, I was like, okay, so we're talking about cunning, we're talking about ambition. It's like, okay, that's what she wants in her mind. Now, is that what she's actually doing? No. And of course, that's not what she's actually doing, because I'm like, you're a 17-year-old and you're trying to think that you're clever, which she's not as clever. And now she does have like this like magical power, like when she looks in the eyes of men, she can compel them to do things, which I'm just like, okay, as a concept, okay, that does sound interesting. To me, though, the way that it's handled in the story, I'm kind of just like, is this really like a fantastical thing? But I mean, I don't know. There's been definitely a couple instances where it is indeed fantastical. Like, she wears like a whole veil. Like, that's the part of like, the cover, is that she wears a veil to cover her eyes, you know, so that the men don't have to be compelled to do what she does, because she's like a witch and things. So in a way, I'm like, okay, sure. But like, I don't know. The writing is good. I do still like Ava Reid's writing. It's just like, I don't particularly like the narrative choices that they went with for this retelling. And for someone who is, granted, not super familiar, like fresh in my mind with regarding the play, but I do remember things about the play, and especially the characters, because that's what I remember most about the play, is regarding Lord Macbeth and even Lady Macbeth's characters. And I have found Lord Macbeth in this version to be quite boring. Like, it doesn't have to be exact, but as far as Shakespeare retellings that I genuinely actually care about how the author is going to change things, this is the Macbeth retellings are the ones I actually am like, oh yeah, I actually care like a lot, besides like a Hamlet one. And I don't know, I just particularly did not like the way that Ava Reid went with this one, unfortunately. I did not like the characterization of Lord Macbeth. I did not really care for the characterization of Lady Macbeth, unfortunately, which actually is the most sad thing, actually, because I was really looking forward to that. So I did lean into the camp of people who were more aware of the Shakespeare play and read this. They didn't particularly like the interpretation, but I will say I don't dislike it so much. But then the more I read the book, the more I'm just like, okay, well, now I'm getting even more bored. And the thing is, the book is not very long. Like, the audiobook is a little bit more than 9 hours. If you were to get it physically, it's under 300 pages. So like, that's not a very long book, which makes sense because the original play was not very long either. So I was like, okay, so pacing wise is not the worst thing, but I'm also just like quite disinterested because I got into like about halfway through and I was getting so damn bored, because then also Lady Macbeth started catching feelings for like this one prince of, I think, Britain, something like that. I wasn't fully paying attention. It's just some prince, and I generally do not care about this prince's personality. I don't even care who the heck he is. That's why I don't even remember if he was a prince of Britain or what. Most likely Britain. Yeah, I just did not care for it, honestly. And I've also have read pretty much Ava Reid's other, their other previous works, and I will have to say that there is indeed like a romantic subplot for all their books, and half of them are like ones I'm like, okay, I'm pretty solid, they're fine. The other ones I'm like, okay, I don't generally care about as much. Like, the more I read of Ava Reid's works, especially with the romantic subplots, I find them to be less and less interesting. I think the only one I'm still like, I was actually genuinely even invested in was like their debut novel, The Wolf and the Woodsman. That's the only romantic subplot I actually genuinely cared about. The one in Juniper and Thorn, I was like, okay, you know what, it's fine, it's solid. The one in A Study in Drowning, though, was annoying at first, and then it grew on me. The one for Lady Macbeth, I'm just like, nah, this is not gonna grow on me, I'm getting bored. I was genuinely getting bored, so I actually had to DNF it. Which is very sad, not gonna lie, because I actually did like the narrator. They had a really good voice, a good narration. It's just that this particular book was not it. I do think also that the author did the narrator did some pretty solid Scottish accents. So at least I think so. I mean, I'm no judge on all that thing, but I think my personal opinion is that it was good. But yeah, this one was just a miss. I had a feeling that it would. So granted, I didn't come in with like the greatest of hopes, but I was also just hoping that, you know, this book could change my mind. I was like, you know what, let me give it a shot. Let's just see. And unfortunately, my intuition was correct. I was like, you know what? I really should have just not bothered with Lady Macbeth, unfortunately. And as far as future Ava Reid works, I'm definitely just going to have to pick and choose, unfortunately. Definitely was more of a fan of their previous works. As far as their current stuff, we're being more of a hit and miss. So, and this one was just a very hard miss. But besides that, I did start reading 12 Nights by Alexine Farrell-Fomov. This is, well, pretty much the same author as like Alvy Blake. They're one of the same. Alvy Blake is like the pen name, and this is the author's like real name, who writes underneath for the young adult audience, actually. And Alvy Blake's the adult, just for people who want to know. Now, this one is also a Shakespeare retelling. This one's regarding 12 Nights, as you could tell in the title, probably. Now, I've never read 12 Night, so I'm going to say that much. I've never read it. I'm somewhat familiar, but I don't really know. I might need to do a quick Google search on just the play itself. But this one feels more in line, reminds me of like something like role-playing that I read earlier this week. So we do have main guy here, Jack, who is a high school football player, and then we have our main girl here, Vine, who is pretty much into like gaming stuff, like role-playing games, online games, stuff like that. And I think he gets injured or something in a football game, my assumption. And I don't know, I think they find each other for this game called 12th Night. Yeah, I don't really know much else about it, but all I know is that there were people that I'm bookish mutuals with that have read this. They've really enjoyed it. And I have read Alexine Falmouth's debut, which was my mechanical romance earlier this year, so I enjoyed her writing through that book, and I think this is going to be pretty solid. And I do have the audiobook as well, so this is a hybrid read, and I've only read like the first chapter, and to be quite honest, I'm indeed intrigued, so I'm going to continue on with reading 12th Night. I'm still in the vein of like a Shakespeare retelling, so we're going to continue on with this book here. But yeah, that's pretty much it, really. We have a DNF, and then I started another book. So yeah, that's what we have. Now, as far as tomorrow, I do intend actually to do the full time. Today was just not the day for me. I was just like, yeah, this is not working. I was hoping with like something like Lady Macbeth, it can at least get me through most of the time, but nah, that book was just not it. So yeah, tomorrow it's nearly 5 hours. It's like 4 3/4 for tomorrow. Yeah, so I do want to continue reading 12th Night, but I also do want to I want to be able to finish one more book, so we shall see how it goes with 12th Night, because I really, really want to finish a book tomorrow, since I didn't get a chance to finish a book today. But we shall see. Worst comes to worst, I just continue reading 12th Night, and I don't finish it. I mean, it is what it is. It's not the end of the world, but, yeah. I do have, like, a short book, though, if I really want to finish something, but that really depends, so yeah, that's really all I have for y'all right now. I'm just gonna keep working on my reading journal things, and then I'll start the timer sometime tomorrow, and we will close out this reading challenge vlog. It's a long one, but I hope y'all have been hydrated or something to drink, or you're doing something while you're putting me on in the background, because we've been here for a long minute. So yeah, but thank you though if you're still watching. So yeah, let's do one more update, and we close out everything tomorrow. Alright, salutations y'all. It is Sunday night, and I'm here to give y'all my final update. So today I did manage to actually do the required amount of time to read. For a while it's been a little bit difficult, hence why I am updating this late at night, or early night, I don't know. Nighttime is weird to me, but it is indeed late. And I figured, you know what? Take my time with the reading. Hence why we are here. So I didn't really end up finish reading anything. Nothing that I planned to, which I'm like, honestly, I really shouldn't even bother voicing such plans, because more than not, they don't come to fruition. So I don't know why I bothered, honestly. I definitely cursed myself like that. Is what it is. But it's fine though. So while I was at church and things, doing my usual volunteering, I was reading my e-arc of Model Home by River Solomon. I don't remember how far I was. Okay, so I'm about 41% into my e-arc, which is great. And I have to say, I am indeed, I don't know, it's hard to say I'm enjoying this, in the sense of that it is kind of like, it is definitely a weird take into this haunted house. Like, there definitely is something wrong with, like, the suburban house that, Esri and their sisters have experienced in the house. And then also dealing with racism as well in this white suburban gated community that they grew up in, but then also seeing like how Esri and their sisters also dealt with the trauma and abuse that they've suffered from their own parents, especially at least with Esri's perspective, definitely regarding their mother. So it is indeed very interesting, and the way that River Solomon even writes it is not what I'm really used to reading. Like, it's not written in the way that I'm used to reading from them. So it's also very interesting. It's like, I'm not really sure where we're going with this story. So I'm just kind of just like taking it in as I'm going along. But yeah, it's kind of a lot, honestly. And I see why I haven't gone back to it for a while, because honestly it was just a lot. And it's definitely giving this very weird, unsettling feeling, because despite this being a horror, it is also a thriller. So it does have that weird suspense, thrilling feeling. And it definitely feels like there's something underlyingly horror about it. Just like it reminds me of like Saruman. This time though, I feel like it's gonna go in a different direction. But yeah, the themes are there, the writing is good. I do find Esri and their sisters to be interesting as well. I am more curious though as far as like, I don't know about like plot wise, because it is more character driven, I'm finding. Because there's not much actually plot going on, but it's definitely more exploration regarding the internal emotions of like Esri, and how Esri interprets other people's emotions, especially with their daughter as well. It's just very, I don't know, I just find it just interesting and engaging, and I'm just going to continue on reading. I do wonder how the way that River Solomon is going with this haunted house story, how that's all going to come to fruition in the end. because usually in the endings of River Solomon's works, there's something very much like something big tends to happen like towards the end. So I'm very curious to see how I'm going to feel about the ending. But so far though, I'm having a good time with it. So tried and true with River Solomon. And speaking of tried and true, I did continue reading 12th Night by Alexine Farrell-Fulmuth. I'm nearly halfway there. Not fully halfway just yet. But I do have to say, I am indeed enjoying this contemporary romance. I don't know. Alexine Farrell-Fulmuth just has a way with regarding young adult contemporary romance that I mean, granted, I don't really gravitate towards that often, but when I do, I try to make sure I'm like very picky and particular on which ones I do pick up. And it does remind me in the sense of like, you know, is a Shakespeare retelling. And I did have to look up about 12th Night because again, I've never read the original play. I don't really know much about the original play, so I had to just look up on Wikipedia on what the play is really about. And as far as plot-wise, it has definitely some overlaps, of course. And, you know, some character names that are similar to like the original. But other than that, it's pretty much very much on its own as far as a retelling is concerned. And again, I'm not really well known into this play at all. But I do find it interesting, and I do like how it does remind me of like role-playing regarding like it's a contemporary romance. It's also dealing with games and also dealing with like women being in like phantom spaces, you know. It's just like granted that we are dealing with a teenager, dealing with like a middle-aged woman in like role-playing. And I want to say, as far as these two characters, I do find them interesting. They are endearing, even though they can be also, well, annoying. Which I'm like, well, as for as old as I am and for how young these characters are, it is granted. Like I do sympathize with Vi and stuff, especially like how she deals with things, but I do have to say that she can be a bit much, but I can see why she can be this way. And even with Jack as well, he does it in a way that's more nice, but also like still finding it quite disingenuous about him. But I also understand he wants to be more likable as a person. And then for Vi, she knows that she's most likely, she's really is unlikable, but she also wants to be like respected, you know, as like a person. I don't know, it's just, there's a lot of things going on here regarding the characters emotionally. And I am curious to see how that's going to go in the later parts of this novel and seeing how they can really tackle those flaws and some of their insecurities as well. So that's definitely something for me to, that's actually something I really am looking forward to. And also I do like on how the spine just says game on. I actually really like it. And I also like the way on how Alexine Farrell-Fulmuth includes football, which granted, I have been watching more football, like NFL. And I do want to say for anyone who's not from the United States watching this video, when I mean football, I do not mean what we call as soccer here. Just to let y'all know, I'm talking about American football. So maybe I really should actually just say that. I'm talking about American football and for this book. So if you're not familiar with American football rules, I mean, the football is like mentioned there. We do get like a couple instances regarding games in the very beginning, but like Jack gets injured. So it's less so about the football, it's like regarding like the mechanics of the game. And it's more so of how for Jack, he had this idea regarding being in the NFL. Well, not like NFL. He had this idea of being like in college football because he's also a high school senior, and seeing that with this injury he got, the chances of him doing it, he's now have to look at some other options. It's not looking good, trust me, y'all. It's not quite really a spoiler because honestly, you find out pretty quickly about his injury, and that kind of injury, especially if you are aware of American football, the kind of injury you get that he got in this book, chances are, if you know, chances is that he needs to probably look at other options. So pretty much, yeah, there's some things for sure that Jack needs to think about, but also, I don't know, I'm just very curious just to see like how this romance between the two of them is gonna work. I'm just like, okay, I'm kind of curious how that's gonna work. Now, am I enjoying this more so than My Mechanical Romance? I don't know if this is gonna top My Mechanical Romance just yet. It's a little too soon, but then again, granted though, as far as the personalities of the first book versus this sophomore novel is not quite as comparable, but I don't know, I'm just curious actually to see on how this is going to turn romantic between the two of them. I don't know, I'm just very curious, but I'm just looking forward to them learning more about each other But yeah, it's this one's a fun one so far. I see why some people can really enjoy this one, but I can also see how maybe a few people might not like it, because Viola is kind of, she is a little bit unlikable. But honestly, I do understand her, because honestly, dealing with some teenage boys that are just so, they're just misogynistic and sexist is very, very, very irritating. So honestly, I do feel her. I really do. But you know what? It's okay. We'll see how Alexine Farrell-Fomoth goes with tackling this particular part of Vi's character. Very much looking forward to that. Yeah, and that's pretty much it, y'all. That's all I really have for y'all, actually. I didn't actually calculate how much reading time I've spent this week. I know I did not put in full calculations, but I do hope that editing me is going to do all the calculating and that the number is somewhere around here on the screen, because I do not know the math. And also, I also do not know the math of total screen time for the week as well. And I can't really compare and contrast as far as like this vlog on reading time and screen time versus the first one. But yeah, I have to say though, this challenge for this time around was a little bit more difficult, especially with Saturday. Take speaking, basically it was a fail. This reading challenge was actually a fail because of yesterday's progress. But honestly, I'm not even mad about it. I really am not. If I really was not in the mood to read like that, or not read as much, I'm not going to punish myself just because I didn't do the challenge correctly. You know, I'm just not. It is what it is. It's my video. I do however I want to do as far as if things just don't work out for me. And it is what it is. So, yeah. Now let's actually just do a quick wrap up as far as all the books I've read. So first up, I finished reading Role Playing by Cathy Yardley. Gave this one 4.5 stars. Highly recommend it if you have not read it already. Then I finished reading There's Always This Year on Basketball and Ascension by Hanif Abdurraqib. I read this an audiobook. If I were to rate it, it would be 5 stars, although a part of me does want to rate it, though. Despite it being nonfiction, I do want to rate it. We shall see. But if I were to rate it, it would definitely be 5 stars. And then Time Travelers, an anthology of Palestinian speculative fiction. 4.5 stars. Highly recommend that anthology. What else did I read? Oh yeah, Blood Over Brighthaven, my e-arc. Gave that one 4 stars. And then Lady Macbeth by Ava Reed. Read as an audiobook. It was a hard DNF. DNF a little bit more than 50% of the way through. Yeah, that one was just a miss. And 12th Night by Alexine Farrell-Fomoth. You know, we're getting close to that halfway mark, so make some progress. And then Model Home, over 40%. Some pretty solid progress. But yeah, that's pretty much it, y'all. That's all I really have for y'all as far as this reading challenge. Thank you all for watching this. I know this is probably a very long vlog, but if you like this video, please like this video. Let me know y'all's thoughts on any of these books, especially if you've read Blood Over Brighthaven, Lady Macbeth. There's Always This Year, or anything regarding Hanif Abdurraqib. I'm very curious about anyone's thoughts on those books particularly, or even just any other book. I don't know. Any book that I've read or started or DNF'd, just, I don't know, I'm just curious to know. Also, I'm very curious that if any of y'all would do a reading challenge like this, even if it's not for like an entire 7-day week, maybe you do it for a few days. I'm curious regardless if any of y'all will want to do a challenge like this. And if you like this you like this video and you're new here, you're interested in maybe seeing some more videos from me in the future, or want to look at my past videos, and you like my personality and my vibe, consider subscribing if you want. And if you made this far into the video, you're not really sure what to say, but you want to just let me know you're here by leaving an emoji, why not leave me some sort of game-related emoji in honor of role-playing and 12th Night? You know, I think it just seems thematically appropriate, since for some reason I'm more into like game-related contemporary romances, I guess. One adult and one young adult, whatever. Anyways, thank you all again for coming on to this video, and I hope to see you all in my next one. Bye!